Okay. That was fucked. We should be good. I think we're good. Let me know. The current stream on Twitch should be just my desktop wallpaper. And the stream on Discord should also just be my wallpaper. Now, since I've had half of my time allocated to technical difficulties, the Poicast isn't going to last as long as usual, or at least as long as I intended. But we'll give it a second for some people to notice what's going on. Yeah, that's what I just put the logo as. My wallpaper is usually Wallpaper Engine, something animated. But for now, I just put the Hoppou Foundation logo as my wallpaper. It works on Twitch. Okay. How's the audio? I haven't really fiddled with it at all. I have to remember this screen needs to be blank. Discord does noise canceling, Discord does not. So I'm assuming the fan in my background's very audible and him coughing. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Twitch can hear everything. Got it. You're good. But yeah, for this podcast, I had a lot to talk about. A metric fuckload to talk about. But we'll cover a decent amount of it. Not being able to do it in VR is pretty damn difficult because a lot of the Poicast, the energy, comes from being able to express in VR. But I genuinely don't know what the fuck's wrong with it, so we're kind of at a loss there. But hi everyone on Twitch, hi everyone in Discord, hi 14 people in world. It's a lot of people hanging out in the world. But yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, probably have to pack another. As for topics, we're gonna have crispy and leg here. We're gonna talk about Foundation a bit. We'll talk about APD a bit. We'll talk about the group I've been working on. Talk about some general stuff. But yeah, just try to cover as many bases as possible. I know Lang's on a fixed time span or time schedule, so we won't take up too much. When it comes to things as of immediate, I know I talked about this on the last podcast, but I'm moved into my new place. Demo's moved in. Girlfriend's already been moved in. But the move went well. Everything settled there. Things have been pretty good overall. There have been a couple issues here and there, don't get me wrong, but there's 25 viewers on the Twitch. That gave me a minor heart attack. Jesus fucking Christ. Good Lord. That was a heart attack. Hold on. Well, that's enough smoking for me. So, anyway, hi. Welcome to the Poicast. Now I feel like I actually have to do something that's not janky as shit, because that's over 35, 40 people watching. So, hi. Welcome to here. This is the Poicast. It's jank as fuck. I know I'm janky as shit. God damn it, or I'll say. But yeah, as for the general topics, I know I said it earlier, but we'll talk about Foundation, APD, Abyssal Order, and some other stuff. But as I said earlier, my little adventure across the US went decently well. Things are good overall. We're moved into the new place. Everything's set up computer-wise. I don't know why my computer's blue screening whenever I try to get in VR. So I'm gonna try to get that fixed before the next Poicast, but I tried before this one too. I didn't want to do an audio only Poicast because I feel like that's kind of boring. But hey, I feel like it's better than looking at my face the entire time. You can just stare at the Hoppou instead. As for APD stuff, I think Lang's got a decent amount of stuff to talk about. As for Foundation stuff, I think Crispy's got some stuff to talk about, or could talk about, rather. For Abyssal Order, I've got a decent amount of stuff to talk about, but not too much progress. As for changes to Foundation, I'll bring some of those up, some of the votes. But yeah, everything's been pretty decent IRL on our end. Demo's got a job. Things have been pretty solid. So when it comes to the IRL front, things are pretty okay. I went ahead and got out of VR. Yeah, that's fair, Ling. My bad. I spent like over an hour before the Poicast, and who knows how many hours in the days leading up trying to get it to work. I don't know what's wrong. Genuinely have no idea. So, beats me. We'll deal with it later. As for Foundation changes, I'll go over those first because there's not too many that need to be brought up. Let's see. Where are the votes first? What was the most recent? Was it Silent? Let's see. Rouse. Last time we did a Poicast would have been... Okay, so these are the ones that follow. So, Silent was promoted to Guardian with a 99% approval rating. And they were also promoted to Warden with a 99% approval rating. Moctane was promoted to Guardian and Warden with 99% as well. So, congrats to them. Welcome to hell. I mean, here. As for the changes, I'm probably missing 1 or 2 votes. Let me check quick. We didn't put that up to vote yet, and did we not put that to vote? No, that was amended. Okay, so the motorcycles channel was updated and wiped. The channel topic was changed, which includes rules for the channel. The original intention for it was for conversation pictures, not for content that involves driving. I think it's pretty obvious why, as that kind of content can become illegal or glorifying that kind of shit. So, but outside of that, we did add a rule amendment. Do not encourage or glorify dangerous content and behavior. Technically, that's already covered under our rules along with Discord TOS. But from a standpoint of moderation or moderation situations, it can be kind of difficult to pin broader rules to specific situations. So this one was brought up mainly because of the motorcycle channel. But other content like this has been seen before. So that's to help out and negate those issues. The other one is another rule amendment. Luna, I love you, doggo, but you're beating the shit out of your toy at a bad time. I love you, doggo, but no. Did she try to grab it and run into the fucking wall?
No, she ran backwards.
I love you, Luna, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, so the other rule amendment, this has been a thing for a long time now, but it was never put in writing. The communities that make up our Abyss, the Hoppou Foundation, Abyssal Poilice Division, Abyssal Order, Abyssal Nexus, Whiteclad, are volunteer-run virtual reality-based groups that fall under our US-based parent organization, the Abyssal Ecosystem, which operates, observes, and is administrated under the laws of the United States, State of California. Now, that rule amendment's for several reasons. That's already been the case for a very long time. But when it comes to certain administrative or moderation situations, it can be really difficult to determine what falls under our legal standard or another country's. So when it comes to moderation situations that might fall into a legal area, we're generally basing it off of California's laws, as those are the laws that I'm most familiar with, and I might have just moved out of California, but again, it's what I'm most familiar with, and it helps make certain moderation cases a lot easier. Having that baseline established for, say, road laws or otherwise, it's pretty helpful. What else? Yeah, if anyone's got topics or questions, feel free to ask. When you're exposed to too much high energy radiation, your health is severely affected. God damn it. What's the Fallout channel about? I didn't know if I was going to keep that channel or not, but we've been playing a lot of Fallout, both Fallout 76, Fallout 4, and New Vegas. So we've been playing a lot.
I encouraged nothing.
He apparently demo encouraged nothing. Can we hear the fan a little? Doesn't overpower your voice though. 25 went down to 13 in a heartbeat. Something's up with the numbers in Twitch. Yeah, I don't know how the numbers in Twitch work, but I know there's over 30 people watching. It's kind of weird. While saying that though, hi doggo. The game was rigged from the start. Let me see what else, because there were some other things that didn't make it to vote. Oh, none of those matter. Okay, those don't matter. Those are passed. Those are passed. Those are passed. That one will go to community vote, probably. I haven't put it up yet. I'll probably wait for another one. But yeah, so that's it for the staff stuff that immediately comes to mind. I know that overall things seem pretty usual from standpoint of raids, events, operations. I haven't seen anything that's really gotten my attention that's bad or problematic. When it comes to moderation, we haven't really had too many cases or problems as of late. Of course, one or two here and there, but just about everything's been resolved to my knowledge. So I'd say things are pretty good. They've been pretty slow, pretty chill, and I'm happy with that. Now, I'm sure things will get a little bit more spicy and active in the coming weeks and months, but overall, events look like they've been chill, and I'm happy with that. Raid leaders looks like they've been making progress in the sense of how they lead and handle situations. Looks like staff has been communicating a little bit better. So overall, I'm happy with how Foundation's been. I haven't spent too much time in the APD as of late. I do look through the staff chats every so often, probably once every day or two. But that's more Lang's area, so in a minute we'll let him talk. But trying to think what else immediately comes to mind for Foundation. I want to update the avatar world, but when it comes to updating the VR chat avatar world, that's going to wait and be based off of the excuse me, Dr. Fago Go Burr. But yeah, so the update for the main avatar world, or at least my version of it, will come after the massive loop version, because I got a lot of shit I want to test for it, and I got a lot of shit I want to make for it, but I don't intend for it to be for VR chat. I want to make it centered around massive loop, so that one will get made first, and then a version will probably come around for the VR chat version. So yeah, Unity. Who would have thought I'd open that wacky ass shit ever again? Speaking of that, I do need to re-download Unity again, because I had to wipe my computer twice in one day. So yeah, updated avatar world's gonna take a little while. Don't tell me Blender is better, god damn it. I hate making things in Blender. I understand Unity, which I hate the fact that I understand Unity. Blender just makes my fucking brain explode. I don't get it. I don't know why people use it. Blender is bad. Blender is actually insanely useful. I just suck with Blender. Why is there a man grinding up Magic the Gathering cards in the chat? That's great. Hello, Trilison, I don't know how to say your name. Space Pepsican. What the fuck? I'm dead. Oh, someone died. Did you die? Oh, the controller died. You scared the dog. Okay, that one's correct. Those are correct. Jesus Christ, Windows command processor. You scared the shit out of me. Those are normal. So something I have been noticing, I think I need to go in by hand and readjust some of the roles. Not even some of the roles. There is a very large disproportionate amount of ancient, elder, and veterans than there should be. There should be a considerably higher amount of ancients and elders especially. So there should be a fuckload of elders. There should be a pretty sizable amount of ancients. So I'm pretty sure the point motion system, the automated one, was just not a happy camper. Because there should be, in my opinion, at least double the elders. And at least half that for ancients. So I'm not sure what we'll do about that, but looking through it, there is a pretty big disparity in numbers, as most members end up becoming veteran, which is reasonable, but there's still a massive fucking number difference. So in the next couple days, if you see roles shift around, like massively shift around, that would be me correcting people's roles. I think we still have StatBot at our disposal in the sense of user verification and statistics, so that makes it a little faster. But anyway, so yeah, if you see roles get swapped around a lot, that's why. As for custom roles, there are only 2 roles outside of mine that are special roles. 2 special roles. One is Abyssal Advisor, which is technically a role, but it isn't. Technically, the advisors would count as the council in the case of Foundation, but that role has outside Foundation implications. It was just never used. So I wouldn't count that as a unique role. Abyssal Empress is the only technical unique role, and that's for my girlfriend. I've never made a custom role for anyone, but she got that. So that's about it for custom. We had a solid 1 minute of silence. I was talking the whole time. I've been talking the whole time. You telling me that you didn't hear me talking? But yeah, so that's enough about that. Crispy, you got anything Foundation related that you want to bring up, talk about? Because I'm kind of at an end for Foundation.
The only things that I've got in mind is I was asked earlier a couple of questions. One was, how many Hoppous have we got in the community, and how far away from 5,000 are we? And I think when I last looked, it was 4,908, which by my guesstimates means we need 92 more to hit the 5k.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but
You're
what
right.
actually also happens is I have a clear out every month, and we get ever closer, and then I sweep clean with the sweeping brush, and then we take our step back again. I think we'll probably hit 5k before the end of the year, but you know, and of course that's like, oh, 24-hour raid, 24. Realistically, I don't think it's going to be this year though, because we won't want to do it in December and probably not January. So I think the stars aren't quite going to align for a 24 this year. That's my thoughts. And the other one was Squire tryouts. I was asked when they were due, and I think we got the little calendar out, and I'm figuring it's going to be somewhere in November. Those are the 2 points that...
Sorry. I was listening, but my dog decided to eat 4 plastic squares that have letters on them. So I just had to shove my hands down her throat real quick.
Oh no! So Doggo got Doggo distracted you. So it's like, that's good.
Yeah,
I
I
want
heard
to know
what you
what the
said,
letters
but
are.
fuck. It's
I
an
want to know what the letters are that it's eating and what the words are going to be. SRKX, was it?
SRKT.
Because it's like you might have to wait till tomorrow to find out what the word score is in Scrabble.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what she fucking
I've
just.
got.
She's eating it.
I've got Ort nearby, who's kind of whispering in my ear that there may be an event to announce very soon as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and Ms. Gurumov is also alongside. Well, wonder what could that event be? I think it's mentioned somewhere in the general chat, isn't
You literally can talk in here too, bro.
Yeah.
it? Oh yeah, you can, Ort. Come on, flick the switch. That's got him panicked now. He's crawling around in VR.
No, I haven't been panicked. I just had to stretch my arm over into almost Gura's face to actually react to unmuting myself. No, there will be probably in hopefully not even a week an announcement with an official date and like a nice invitation made. We already have a date in mind where it will be happening. It will be happening on weekend, on a Saturday, for US time, and yeah, it's hopefully gonna be quite nice in that sense.
Hell yeah.
And for anyone that don't know what's going on, it's gonna be a wedding.
Another
Yeah.
wedding. Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's hype. Now the
That's
question
about
is.
everything I can say. One.
I was gonna say the question is, how's it gonna go? How many bridesmaids you got picked out? How many Fennecs are gonna be chucked into the air like fireworks?
I don't know how many bridesmaids are around. Could be one or two. Haven't necessarily checked up on how many it might be that Gora picked. For my best man, for the time being, I only have one. As to how many Fennecs you might use as fireworks, that depends on how many might end up showing up.
That's fair. I'm sure I could get a decent crowd.
Yeah, I'm very certain of that. We might not have like 50 or 60 people or something, because out of reasons of not wanting to terrify the hell out of Gura, and possibly just to make sure that we're not lagging or anything, but it should hopefully be around 30 or 40 people.
Fair. Understandable. I won't call in the cavalry.
Plus, it will most likely end up getting streamed anyways.
Fair.
And we can have, after the fact, we can have, or just everybody that watches, we can just have.
Oh no, Ott's a robot. Is Ott roboting for anyone else? I'm the robot. Fuck. Hello? I'm pretty sure the Poicast channel is not working. I'm gonna fix the region real quick. See if that changes anything. I changed the region. Did that fix anything?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was basically just saying that even though we are kind of limiting the amount of people for the actual wedding, if you watch it in a live stream, at that time we might still end up just going into a world that can hold a bunch of people, so you can just meet up, say your congratulations, just have a good time, and we might end up like playing some games or like whatever. So we're not gonna try and exclude anybody. It's just that we have to limit the actual guests a little bit to not terrify everybody present, basically.
Yeah, I get that. Let me know what your plans are for it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, no, it will be. Don't worry, we'll make it very entertaining. I'll leave some parts of it up to the gatherers, though, since they want to have some fun organizing the whole thing as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hi.
that's about all the news I have. If there's not any other questions to it, I will go back into being a non-cute little mute.
Well, hype. Fucking another marriage, another wedding ceremony. I can't wait to see how janky it's gonna be. If it's not jank as fuck, then it's not a Hoppou wedding. And we also need to figure out who's gonna be the sacrifice. There needs to be at least a Kana or a Nanachi, as per tradition.
Or a goat.
Or a goat. Okay, I'm. God damn it. That's fucked.
Listen here, I know one precious gorgeous goat that might just be the one for the case.
Rouse, I think you're gonna have to become a Nanachi goat to make it even double the sacrifice.
So the food's on as well.
Hell
Excellent.
yeah. Got ourselves some snacks, a sacrifice. Fuck yeah. Several people are typing. I'm dead. That's
We can have
awesome.
several courses, can't we? Someone suggested an alternative food as well. Gotachi.
God damn it. Go to Chi.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's
Dessert.
hype. I'm hyped for you. That's gonna be cool and that'll be a lot of fun. So congrats. And what else foundation related do we got to talk about? Because honestly, I'm drawing up blanks. Most of the stuff I've been around in is staff related.
Well, I feel like everything's ticking over quite nicely at the moment. So the two main points I could think of is what I mentioned earlier, really.
Fair. Ouch. What about APD time? What's been going on in the APD?
Oh, so much. Like, actually, I'm not
Tell
even
us
just using
about
a
it.
turn of phrase here. Yeah, so basically, a while ago, we were able to functionally determine that we've pretty much got our Poitral formula laid out. Like, the events that are focused around getting people into the server, finding wholesome poise, going out, getting arrests, and doing things of that nature. We currently feel as though that is a very figured out formula, um, especially whenever it comes to the the creativity that you can use within it.
Yeah.
However, we have a lot of elements to our server which are more like lore focused and are more so for making things fun and interesting within the community.
Uh-huh.
So basically, the route that we've been going is we're going to keep our standard Poitral events in place, and have those operate as per usual. But lately, we've been rolling out an entirely different classification of event, where essentially we do an activity, but there's no direct, explicit intention of getting anybody into the server via it taking place. Now, that's not to say that it it is off the table completely. In fact, I'd say some of the best recruits we've got in the last few weeks are the people who have chosen to involve themselves in the things that we've been doing. Um,
Hell
a
yeah.
few examples are we started basically doing an alternate version of, I suppose, uh, you could say it's like cops and robbers or something, but
Mm-hmm.
our version, but we're basically taking these old concepts as well as a lot of the things that have been placed in the handbook that didn't quite work when you try and shoehorn them into the original concept for the Poitrol. We've been taking them and we've been reworking them into these different events where, like, for instance, we took the concept of like a cops and robbers type deal and we made it a fennec hunt. So we're kind of like putting our lore into it, where it's like, oh, a bunch of fennecs escaped from the pit and we need to go like apprehend them and bring them back to the court and so on. And we have a lot of tools available to do things of that nature. We've also, at the same time, been making it such that we're rolling out the special services in like full force. So I have a lot of people in place right now at this very moment who are working on developing those things for me. The mages, the engineers, the enforcers, the medics, the um,
Jesus.
and the investigative boys. Uh, we have all those rolling out at this very moment. I'm getting the right people in place to spearhead those and kind of be the people for them.
That's
I've
sick.
taken the mages upon myself because I've been playing D&D for over a decade at this point, and I'm trying to be on my Elminster grind set.
Jesus fucking Christ. A decade?
Listen, I
God
play
damn.
mages. I don't know what to say. Um,
That's fucking wild.
but yeah, like my overarching vision for it is basically that the I don't know if anyone else here is a huge like Magic the Gathering nerd like I am, but there's basically this city called like Ravnica, and and all of them have different like guilds in them that all like contribute a major service to the city to make it operate, but they also have their own like motivations, their own goals, their own desires, their own beliefs, their own like small like subset of culture, and their own like way in which they do things, and they have complex like relationships between each other. You know, they have rivalries and alliances. Perhaps they have enemies with one another. They have disagreements on things. I'm basically trying to ship it out such that the special services can interact kind of in that way, and through that we can one make really good and like interesting lore, and two, it can be the foundation for some like stuff going on in world, like the foundation for events, the guidelines for interactions between different people of different members of the different ones, and even a lot of like crossover type deals. But yeah, basically we're out here developing kind of a whole like almost like a whole universe. I
I
understand that's a
feel
bit of
that.
a overarching like broad bold claim, but uh, we're
I
basically just
totally feel that.
developing stuff to make it a lot more interesting within our own community. I've been seeing really great results with these new events that we've been rolling out, because like the portals are great, they're fun, you go out and you get good people. But sometimes whenever you have a group like ours that's more centered around RP and we have all these interesting like elements to them that have different flavors and personalities, it's really interesting to just kind of close the doors a little bit for a while and just kind of have fun with ourselves. But we're definitely still leaving the windows open so anybody, because we do it out in public. So if anybody wants to kind of involve themselves and they seem nice, well, we go, hey, guess what? Right to the precinct, because you're gonna be a part of this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
God
I also
damn.
have Zoe right now is working on the training handbook. They're being my spearhead for the Reapers. Kind of doing a bit of like a overhaul for that. It's because we're obviously shifting around a lot of things, so making sure that that's all on the up and up. I have Nighty in the World Sweatshop, uh, doing doing what he does, making these phenomenal worlds for us. I'm coordinating the avatar creators, so on and so forth.
He does
Um,
some crazy fucking shit.
when I told Daedric he could head up uh, the engineers, which are basically the people who deal with the technology and the cybernetics and the robots and stuff. I think he actually started to like salivate a little bit. I I could like physically see the excitement conveyed through his avatar, through his headset. Which, if you know Daedric personally, you'll know that he's a very stoic individual. So, uh,
That's
needless to
awesome.
say, he's quite excited about that. In fact, I think that within a week, he had a pretty fully fledged avatar for that group already made,
God
and I know
damn.
he's going to keep going. I'm currently working. I have about 1,000 folders of assets sitting on my desktop right now, just full of magical stuff.
Hell yeah. Magical stuff.
Because oddly enough, um, being a giant moth person and being a magical being kind of slot into each other really well.
That yeah, really do be like that. That's true.
But yeah, like we're pretty much just finding stuff for these various groups to do. Like we had an idea that like the investigative division could pretty much be like they could go out and they could find like evidence like in the lead up to court cases because it's like one, the cases are more fun if you have stuff to actually show like on the courtroom floor, and two, you know, trying to go out and like maybe stage scenes, catch people in the act could be pretty fun. We also had an idea that they could be like the almost like internal affairs where they could kind of like try and investigate like corruption or something.
That'd
I
be
feel like that could
sick.
be really neat storylines. So yeah, I'm just working on this really big like ball of spaghetti of like story and development. I've got this really big ball of clay in my hands, and I kind of have an idea where it is I want it to be when it's way over there. But all this and where it is right now, and like all the stuff in the middle is very much like all the little fine details whenever like that are on the major shape that I want it to take eventually. All
Uh,
those are fully up in the air, and I'm all ears with people. Like right now, I have mostly my staff team doing a lot of development, but we also have a few other standout members who are in there doing a lot of great work. Because even if you're even if you're not staff, you absolutely can contribute in a very profound way to the things being made over in the APD right now. And I really want to emphasize that to people.
well, hell yeah. That's fucking awesome. That's that's a lot. God damn, you weren't kidding.
I stay on my grind set. I don't know what to say.
Hell yeah, y'all did.
I
Fuck.
absolutely think about all my poyos when I'm not, when I don't have my headset on. I
Fuck.
spend a lot of time thinking about and doing stuff for you guys.
I feel that one. Giga
Yeah,
Hoppou grind set. God damn it, let's.
fucking love the poyos. So
Well, I can agree with that. That's fucking awesome. It sounds like you got a lot of shit going on for the APD. Fuck. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad you got a lot of shit going on and sorted. That's fucking
very easy
great.
to stay busy.
Seriously, fuck. Well, that's a lot of progress in a lot of different areas, and I'm glad to hear that. Sounds like things have been going pretty good over there.
Oh yeah, like the fun has just been like thoroughly on the rise, and that's something that I was very pleased about because we almost like after we figured out like the Poitrols, we almost sort of like fell into a rut a little bit
Hmm.
because like the development stalled for a little while. I mean like the concepts didn't, but the acting upon it did. And all the stuff that we're doing with like the actual like just role play events, that's definitely like the next step for us. Like
Makes
the
sense.
like fun has been taking a meteoric rise whenever we just take all these cool fun concepts we've been developing and just put them into the world and make them do stuff because like there's just a lot of additional freedom I feel whenever you don't necessarily have to worry about finding a good world, finding a good target, trying to start an interaction with a stranger. If you just take what it is you have like within your community and you just have a whole lot of fun, especially when we do it in like the public instances that we do. A lot of the time, the people we're looking for tend to involve themselves with us of their own accord.
I mean, that makes sense. That's pretty fucking true. Don't want to derail anything, but the total number of people watching is about 55. 55 people watching. God damn.
Cool.
That's pretty sick. Hell yeah. But I'm glad the APD's been making some progress because
Yeah.
it,
Also, just trying to build our staff team up, average,
yeah,
finding the right people.
that is pretty difficult when it comes to VR related communities. Getting a staff team together that actually is able to work coherently and together, it can be difficult and take a lot of time. And the APD, before you got involved, struggled with that a lot. But overall, you guys are making a shitload of progress.
Yeah, we're just
So,
working on like developing new leaders, doing all the stuff I mentioned before. You know,
hell yeah. Agent, how's my audio on Twitch, by the way? I tried swapping some filters on. I also changed my fan speed. I know it gets really annoying hearing that shit, so I'm trying to limit it as much as possible. Is good? No noise? Okay. But overall, it sounds like the APD is the busiest right now. Foundation has always been kind of like, I don't want to say a river necessarily, but Foundation works in waves. Sometimes we're doing a fuckload of shit at once, sometimes we're just chilling doing nothing. And I'm happy that the Foundation kind of exists like that because I don't have to give it constant warrior thought. And we don't really have to do a lot right now. Raids are going how they should be, and events are going about the same. There doesn't need to be too much done, as long as everything's working for now. And sure, smaller additions or changes happen, but Foundation's always been pretty chill. APD, y'all got a lot going on, so I'm sure it's pretty chaotic. Sure,
One
there's a
thing I
lot to
will say
see.
is that you're very lucky that you appointed a very seasoned veteran D&D DM,
God damn it.
because I very much see this as like this massive sprawling campaign that I'm writing and like running, but
Uh,
also like playing a character in. Like I very much am
it's
equating it
fun.
to like D&D.
It's a good way to handle it too.
Oh yeah.
But hell yeah, when I look at certain parts of it, you could definitely get a D&D type vibe, especially when you're making like role play situations. But I don't know, when it comes to sooner or later, we're gonna have ourselves a situation that will be similar to a campaign. One of our end game objectives, one of the final big events that I've been working on for a couple of years would be very similar to a role play campaign. And I'm pretty sure we have a decent amount of resources for it, but we still need another year, maybe another year and a half at least. The plan for that I'll talk about more later, but when it comes to lore, roleplay, those are the two areas that I spend most of my time on outside of staff related bullshit. So once we got a lot more stuff established on Massive Loop, I want to at least try or push towards that objective. When it comes to the Foundation, APD, any of the Abyssal communities that we have, there are a couple end goals. End goals being either like late stage community goals or massive event, end of event situations. And we have a couple of those that I've essentially not founded the community on, but had planned for a long time. One of which is similar to a campaign like Ling is talking about, but on an extreme scale. We need a minimum of 200 to 300 active users across the entirety of our servers, which isn't difficult, but the kind of activity that's necessary isn't currently achievable. Now, when it comes to that, there also has to be a couple more worlds made. Roleplay has to be refined for both Hoppou Foundation and APD. But the thing is, where this roleplay takes place, it's a 50-50 deal. We've got to see how certain things pan out that we just can't tell right now. So a big roleplay event, a big campaign, or I guess I don't know how to describe it without describing more of it. But the end goal for all of the Abyssal communities, there's a couple. And one of which requires a fuckload of Hoppous and requires a lot of things to go right. But I think we can do it. We just need another year and a half. We have to make some bigger changes to Foundation and decide which platform it'll be hosted on. But The APD is making a fuckload of progress, which is why it's been on my mind. And Foundation's been really chill. We haven't really had too many problems. So more and more, this has been on my mind. When it comes to Massive Loop, I'm I know they would definitely help make that event possible, but we couldn't do that until the Steam release. There's just not enough people to kind of perform something of that scale. But I'll talk about that in detail in a minute. I didn't mean to derail everything. Sorry. The weed that was handed to me got me high as fuck.
No, it's fine. I mean, I really feel as though I've pretty much said my piece. I will say that I definitely am able to relate to all the lore and stuff. That's why I'm so glad that I have a very firm background in both writing and running stuff in like D&D, because the art of being a dungeon master is basically taking lore and making it into a fully functional, entertaining, living, breathing experience for people. And if that's not literally what we're doing here, then I don't even know, you know?
Yeah, that's
And
fucking true.
I'm glad that I'm in
God.
the position that I'm in where I can really, really take that as far as I want to go.
That's true. You've got resources and people to make who knows what, whatever you
Yeah.
want.
I'm so glad that I'm like I actually spoke to Crispy about this a while ago, but like I don't feel like I would have done poorly had I been counsel in HF, but I definitely feel as though I'm much better suited to where I ended up actually being.
I agree with that. APD is a much better suit.
The more heavy roleplay community definitely suits me much better.
That's pretty fair. Foundation has
I
always
was
been really chill, which is
I was
why
just saying
it
a little
works.
bit in our little event here. Actually, it's like Lang. I'm so glad you were around to pick up the pace with the APD. I kind of like lifted it up and resuscitated it, but gosh, I was relying on someone like you nearby to go. Can you help me get this to the next level? And my goodness, you delivered.
Seriously, fuck.
The
Yeah,
thing is, you would be council material. That is without the question. It's just that you're more or less the guy that needs action. You want to build something up from the ground up. You'd probably just sit as council and be like, what should I do next? While you now basically just have control over the APD, and
Yeah,
you just do what needs to be done instead of having to like bring ideas up and work with like other people in that sense.
that's pretty true.
yeah. The opportunities to create something in the APD is just never ending. The amount of role play, you can take that to a whole new level. Hoppou stuff, what we do over in the Hoppou Foundation, it's it ticks over and it knows its way already. It will grow and evolve in its own time. But the APD, it's like it's just there's so much scope for all these different types of events and role plays, and
That's what I'm all
you're the
about.
right one for it. Exactly, that's you all over. As I say, when I asked to pick up on it last December, we were chatting already, but I couldn't have made it work on the same scale that you have. So thank you for that. You were a godsend.
There's far more work to be done.
So much work, a lot more work. We'll keep it going though.
The
Let's just
APD
get
hurt
out
my
there and have
head.
fun.
It hurt my head so much trying to figure it out. You have no
Some,
idea.
sometimes you just got to get out there and play.
Yeah,
The
the
truth.
the APD originally was gonna be I, the way that dynamics work in my mind, at least for lore. When it came to the APD, there had to be a good, there had to be a bad. There had to be a dynamic where the main Poilice officers would be the super kind and like caring, peaceful, and then the enforcers would be essentially brutish barbarians. And those dynamics, things like that, are really hard to work with in actuality. Trying to figure out more advanced structures are fucked. But
That's
y'all
why you
have done
have
a
to
good
do it
job.
one little step at a time. Be
Yeah.
super meticulous and just push where you can in all the different places all at once, little bits at a time.
True.
I think we've learned through various things, Hoppou
That's what
Foundation
I
and
do.
APD, that you can sit and theorize, you can write things down, you can have reams and reams of documentation and concept, but until you actually try them, they don't mean anything. And you can sit on all of these ideas forever. It's not until you get a bunch of poyos or a bunch of people together and actually try it and see what really happens, and then start making notes. And that's what we've been doing this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
true.
must be incredibly meticulous, but trial everything by fire.
Hell yeah. I'll be 1 second. Be right back.
That's how I run it. You also have to have essentially no attachment to what it is you create whatsoever.
Yeah, I would say if something doesn't work in real time, you've got to just review it and
I
evaluate it, and
tie
then say,
none of my
okay,
emotions to the things that I make. I'm very upfront with the staff team about that. Like, hey, if I write something, don't treat it as some weird, like, don't have some weird, like, feelings about it because I wrote it. I wrote it because I want it to work and I want it to be good. If it doesn't work well and it's not good, then let's change it. You know, I have no ego about this shit. I just want the community to work well and be good. So if we try it and it sucks, we're either gonna change it until it doesn't suck, or we're gonna throw it in the fucking trash.
and come up with something new.
Yeah.
The future's good for the APD. I'm happy we got to where we are with it, that we got some life out of the thing, and it's moving, and we stand a chance of creating Blazer's vision with this as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely go back and I look at the original vision on like a regular basis, because I use that as kind of the, all right, am I getting too far away? And I feel as though I've been just like pretty diligent about that. I always try and at least consult the leadership team about it, because the last thing I want is for me to like make something and then I have like all you guys go, wait a minute, what the fuck is Lang doing over there? Yeah.
If it happens, we'll mention it, but
So
I
I
can't
try
think
Yeah.
of
to
any
keep you
moment
posted
yet.
before I make big changes.
Dude, that's
Because
fair. When it
I'm
comes to
of the
the
opinion that
APD, though, that's essentially yours now, to be fair. So when it comes to the vision, I can work with whatever you end up with. So
phenomenal.
I believe in you and I trust you. You've done a fuckload and you're doing good shit. Everyone is from the APD.
I'm very
Fucking
glad that I
dope.
have some very good teams and some very good advisors. I'm of the opinion that all my ideas are not good, and if they are good, they're probably not the best they could be, or that I could maybe come up with something that is shit. And I really need the people around me, especially Crispy. I lean on him a lot for this, to kind of look at what I've been thinking of, and either go, "Yep, solid," or go, "Hold on a second."
Yeah, that's happened occasionally as well. It's like, whoa, what did I just read?
Very
No,
very
stop that.
valuable.
But yeah, checks and balances is something that Blaze mentions a lot. That's how we operate at the top. We keep each other right. We're not afraid to speak up if we disagree with something, and we're free enough to be able to explain what it is as well. So we keep each other right up there. That's the
The
point.
one thing that has ruined every great empire, every great company, and every great person, yes men,
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
bobbleheads. The
we
worst thing
can't
you
have
could
that.
have.
Yeah. I mean, there's times when people will step up and just raise a valid point, and that's I appreciate that kind of thing because it keeps me on my toes. It makes me take a step back and look at it again and go, yeah, they're probably right.
Constructive criticism's important as fuck. But
Totally appreciate it.
differing opinions, differing opinions or different insight on the problems is super useful too.
Yeah.
Very important.
And I mean, when I'm saying that, I'm saying it can be poyos. It's just everybody is the same and has a voice in this community. And if there's something that isn't right, or they want to question, or challenge, it's yes, bring it forward. It stops us from resting on our laurels and keeps us on our toes.
Very much so. Like I'm a very like, all right, let's get into the thick of it. Let's have some banter. Let's have some back and forth like type person. So honestly, it's very disconcerting to me whenever everybody disagrees with me. I'm like, damn it! I was hoping for at least like a little bit of like back and forth about it. Like at least spar with me a little bit, you know?
That's how you get the best stuff, isn't it?
Exactly.
That is true. Fucking lore. All I can think about when it comes to Foundation or APD is lore. It's where most of my attention goes to. Because the Abyss can be so many things. It could be a trillion things. How things work intricately. Fuck. There's so many ways Hoppou's, Abyssals, the Abyss as a whole could work. You do have some framework that you kind of have to rely on and work with in accordance to the original lore, the original series, but I don't know. It's really fun to imagine the different things that Foundation could be or represents. That's one of my favorite parts about Foundation or otherwise is there's a lot of old school lore, hidden lore, lore that's specific to only friend groups or smaller unknown groups. There's so many different things that they can be, and that a Hoppou could be. But from a lore perspective, how things would work on a bigger scale, it's even more interesting. Like, how would a community work on a lore or roleplay scale? What would be the rules or limitations to make it fair within roleplay? There's so many different factors that come into it. Just makes everything so much more fun, confusing, and hard.
That's basically what I'm working on right now, like all the time, especially with all the special services being rolled out.
Fair.
Like for instance, I'm trying to like right now, making like we're gonna have like the engineers. They have all kinds of tech, all kinds of crazy cybernetics, and like all kinds of machines and such. But also, we're going to have like literal magic users. So like
Hell
the reason
yeah.
why, the reason why I decided to head those up myself was primarily on account of the fact that I fucking love mages and magic, and I'm incredibly familiar with it
Same.
in like RP, but also on account of the fact that that's probably going to be the hardest one to balance out, and I want that one to be done by me
Yeah, that's fair as fuck.
Well,
because
that's why
that
you're
has the
running around
opportunity
in a
to get
wizard
out of
hat.
hand really quickly. Yes, yes, it is.
That's what that's about.
Because I'm currently developing the special services of the mages.
That's sick. Mages. I thought that was going to be one of the last ones. The official term for the APD that they were going to be under were psychers. But mage is good enough for me. Psychers
Yeah,
can stay specific to Abyssal Order.
yeah, like that's definitely some like 40K, like mostly like mind type stuff.
Yeah,
I'm trying to do more of like a overarching like magic system
that's
where
better.
I
A
mean yeah
lot better.
I mean like if you wanted me to like delve into it a little bit, I could pull up like the role descriptions,
You can
but
if you want.
I have an idea for all the different things that like the services are going to end up like actually doing.
Yeah,
Like for instance like the enforcers, right now I have it such that they're like our version of like a super soldier program where they're known for their larger size, higher aggression, militaristic attitudes, and they're really not to be messed with. They receive all the latest in our experimental technology, weapons, biological, mechanical augments, and also some metaphysical systems. So, and then there's like the mages. That they're like people who observe, document, study all the crazy, kooky, magical shit we encounter in VR chat
hmm,
during our operations. Then they use this data to develop new systems, new artifacts, further what it is we've already got, and so and then we have the engineers. They basically do the same thing, but with like the mechanical devices and tech encountered by us. Use it to develop new tech, machinery, weaponry. They also are able to repair, upgrade, and increase the efficiency of our pre-existing stuff. The medics, they're like the people who document and study all the biological abnormalities, diseases, cybernetic augments, and various things of that nature. They use their data to create new methods of biological augmentation, DNA editing, surgical procedures of cybernetics, and so on and so forth. And then like the detectives are the like the crime specialists who are able to use various types of forensic technology and like classic sleuthing to do the things that they normally do. But like the way that I like to do it is I like to utilize a lot of contrast. I utilize a lot of duality, a lot of nuance, mainly on account of the fact I study writing and storytelling like constantly,
God
which I'm,
damn.
I'm I'm certain that you probably do as well to a certain extent, Blaze. But it's
That's
very much
true.
more of like a pronounced thing because I analyze that shit a lot. If you looked at my feed on YouTube, it's just all writing coaches.
That's fair.
And people like analyzing movies and why they're good and why they're bad and why this trope works and why that trope doesn't work and this, that, and the other. But
That's fair.
um, but basically, I had the idea that there'd be like the front-facing APD, and then there would be the like behind closed door side of it. So like a small example of this would be like the medics where like they can develop cures, they can develop new surgeries, they can develop life-saving stuff, but they can also perform incredibly like unethical experiments. They can do they can like kind of do some really like sketchy backdoor stuff, almost similar to like the experiments they used to do during warfare and
Hell
so on,
yeah.
you know,
War
where like the
crimes.
subjects aren't necessarily willing and
War
various other things of
crimes.
that nature. But yeah, I always had an idea that there would be like a duality to all of them to a certain extent, where it's like if you look below the surface, there's something more that's happening like under there that's not necessarily like the nicest.
Yeah, I can agree
And
with
it,
that.
it really goes with our whole like undertones that we have where like sure we're cute like small creatures but we also have these really like dark ominous like undertones and I feel
True.
like doing it that way is the best way to really express that and also just hiding little bits that allude to that is a really good way to engage people who are really active in what it is that we're doing because it just gives them like something to chase and feel like that being around for a long time has like a reward when they're able to put all the pieces together.
Well, hell yeah. It's fucking all pretty damn sick. Lore is fucking wild. Making things work in roleplay is fucking wild. But
That's
when
why
it
I'm glad that
comes
you put a
to
writer in.
fair, fucking lore is cool. Sources for lore can be really different though. Like most of the lore that I like or immediately follow is pretty dystopian. Like most of my influences come from Dune and 40K. Two series that I love the books of a lot, and holy fuck. But another major influence, as dumb as it sounds, is The Expanse. I love that book series.
Okay.
One that's a little more scary to think about that I've never been able to figure out a way to actually incorporate is Shishin Lu's fucking three body problem. There's no feasible way to make that series in any sense merge or usable in our area, but the concepts are really interesting for anyone who hasn't read those books. But I think the biggest influences when it came to writing earlier on for the communities, definitely 40K and Dune related,
Yeah.
like heavily,
I'm
very
super into
heavily.
those, but I lean a little more fantasy than sci-fi. So like I go like LOTR, D&D books,
Fair.
uh
That
various
has to
things of
be
that nature.
fun. Lord
Oh
of
yeah,
the Rings
totally.
D&D has to be really fucking fun.
40K is kind of my like bridge into sci-fi because it does include so many like fantasy elements in it.
True. I like I like 40K for a few reasons in reference to Abyssals, but like the way that Necrons work and the way that Tyranids work is a very interesting fusion. If you fuse the two together the way they work, it's very inspirational for some of the more confusing and smaller parts of our lore. I do like all the different inspiration sources that are out there. There's so many cool universes, so many awesome concepts and ideas. We really do live in a great modern age for fucking
Oh, totally.
media, for books, for sci-fi. There's so much that you can learn. So many cool ideas, ways that things work. Like, fuck.
Yeah, see, the way that I ground all of that stuff is, and also where I feel like the shortcoming of where the APD was prior to me being here, was I take those concepts and I write them just enough to where I feel like they might work, and then the way that I ground them is, I think about actual people, like what is going to actually work in the world on the ground with real humans.
Yeah,
You know, like what's reasonable for actual people to be able to like do, to be able to remember, to be able to keep track of. Because a lot of the stuff that was written prior was like way too complicated. It
way
wasn't
too
practical. It
complicated.
required way too much overhead, way too much admin, way too much just all that stuff. And especially when you didn't have the resources that were present to do anything with that, I mean, it was no wonder that you were gonna kind of just be dead in the water.
Yo,
So like you like sure you can have all these massive like grand concepts and have a huge scope, but you have to always like push that story forward and grind it, or not ground it in the fact that people are gonna need to be able to actually do this.
that's
Um,
true.
and that's where I'm glad that I do have the experience in the long-standing background in like running like role-playing games and making them function,
Uh-huh.
because I mean literally we're running and writing role play in a game.
Yep, that's true.
We're making VR chat into an RPG. So like
That's fucking
it
true.
is almost like a one-to-one carryover, and I'm so thankful about it.
Hell yeah. Fucking VR chat or VR in general is surprisingly. Oh, hi Luna. Uh, my dog is being cute, sorry. Um, but when it comes to being able to express yourself in VR and being able to actually see or visualize in some way or interact with these different concepts that you've been writing or working on, it makes everything feel so much more tangible and real, which I love. If my VR didn't fucking suck, I'd be joining you guys a lot more. But I'm sure it's a fuckload of fun getting out there and actually seeing what you wrote or wanted to put in emotion actually get out there. I bet
Totally.
it's pretty rewarding.
And we're just at the forefront of it too. Like things aren't even fully established and we're already doing all this. So
Hell
like
yeah.
it's only going to continue. Basically just need to keep just doing the work on like a day-to-day basis and just watch it go.
Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
This is only the beginning.
There is a lot to go. Something that I think some people either don't know about or just forget. A lot of my plans for our abyss take years. I expect some of these things not to be done for a long time. So when we make a lot of progress in a short amount of time, it's really fucking noticeable.
I'm
It's
glad I'm not
very
the only one who's
noticeable.
also a long-term planner. I feel like a lot of like the success whenever it comes to this kind of stuff is one, have your plans, like have a guideline for what you want to happen, but have the fine details, and this is something that you learn really early on whenever you're trying to DM. You should have an idea of what you want the people to do and what should or could happen, but all the things in the middle, you can't try and railroad like at all, because if you do, you're gonna just waste a lot of effort and be really sad. Like you have to be able to go
That's
just a
true.
little bit off the top of your head, but still be able to get to that place that you want to get to way over there. So
Yep.
it's not a matter of going in a linear direction, like directly toward what it is you're trying to get to. It's a matter of taking steps that move slightly in that direction, whether they're a little like horizontal, diagonal, or they're like somewhere or other. Even if you meander a lot, as long as you get to that end thing over there, that's your goal. So like like also running plans that are not only flexible, but I feel running multiple of different durations at once. I often refer to myself as a schemer,
A
but
schemer.
mainly
I'm
just
dead.
because of the way that I mean, I basically sit here and like in my dark cave by myself with my hood on, listening to like nefarious music while I plan all this stuff out. I very much style myself in the manner of like a supervillain when I'm planning this thing out. It's purely aesthetic, I assure you, but But I'm like, all right, here's my long-term plan. Here's my plan for, like a few months. Here's my plan for a month. Here's my plan for, this week. Here's what I'm doing today. And like you just kind of need to overlap that stuff, one, so you can figure out where you're going, but also so you can figure out what you need to do to get there right now and to be able to track your progress appropriately.
Well, hell yeah, that's true though. That really do be true. You gotta fucking when it comes to a lot of things to actually be successful or to actually feel genuine and fluid good, it does take a lot of planning and a lot of foresight for many things. But being able to ad lib is one of the more important aspects, in my opinion, of D&D. When I was a DM, I almost never planned everything out or anything out. I ad libbed almost everything, and it worked most of the time. But if you weren't very good at, well, documenting along the way, sure, there's going to be some inconsistencies. But something that's really important is to just have confidence and try new things. And,
Yeah.
well, make sure you do set boundaries and uh, so on. Don't
If I
just be
have
like
like
me.
a sticky note for a session, that's like a lot of notes to go on.
That's
Like
true.
I actually have this idea that I'm gonna run one day. This is totally off topic, but I call it like walking D&D, where we all kind of go to the park and everyone has their stats on like a note card in their pocket or something,
Uh,
and I just totally go right off the dome because I'm like I'm straight up at that point now where I just go 100% completely like off the top, and people just like take rolls as needed, like on any surface we're passing by at the time, if not the ground.
uh-huh.
And we just tell the story as we're like going around like outside. I
That's
always thought
fucking
that would be a neat
fun.
concept.
That would be fun.
But speaking of D&D, the people that are going to play it with me in about 20 minutes have arrived at my house. In fact, I'm staring at them right now. They're being very polite and being quiet. So I
Fair.
think I probably need to go now.
Well, y'all have fun. Lang, thanks for joining. And I hope your characters don't die.
Oh, I'm certain my character won't die. I don't know about anybody else. All right. See you,
Well,
everyone.
thanks, Lang. Don't die. Well, that was Lang. That was pretty good. He had a lot to say. Holy shit. Bye, Lang. I'm glad there's a lot of good going on in the APD right now. Sounds like there's a lot going on. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad things are going good there. Let's see, let's see. If anybody has any topics or questions, by the way, feel free. I do have a lot more to talk about, though. Let's see. I'll talk about, you know what, since we're already talking about lore and otherwise, when it comes to the Foundation's lore, it's a lot simpler than the others. When it comes to APD, I'm not sure how all of that fits in right now. When it comes to Abyssal Order, that is probably going to be our most complex roleplay. The boundaries, the guides that I have for it right now are way too broad and way too big, so I need to downscale it a little bit. When it comes to roleplay, I really want to do a fuck ton of different concepts and different roleplays with Abyssal Order. And one of the reasons that I want to put it on Massive Loop is because I can achieve a lot of those ideas a lot sooner in terms of size and flexibility to try new things. I don't know what just disconnected from my computer. Uh-oh. No, it's the end. It's the headset. No, I don't want this. No. Oh God, no. Okay, I hope I can be heard. Am I audible still? Okay, good. So, Will Abyss, God damn it, Steam VR, stop, please. Please. Will Abyssal Order be a massive loop only thing, or will it be on VR chat as well? I'm planning for it to be a massive loop only. That's for a couple of reasons, but I don't intend on it launching until before they put it on Steam. Originally, I was gonna have the release date to be, uh, oh, hello. Originally, the release date was gonna be, maybe half a year to a year from now, but I'm just gonna base it on whenever they are gonna do their Steam release. That's mainly because I can do a lot of the concepts that I want to do uh, relatively fast. I just can't implement any of my broader plans. So when it comes to actually making it a community, that's not going to be too hard. Getting the Discord set up, it's pretty well set up. When it comes to actually handling how we approach the community side of it, like how we get new members for it, how we host events, that's where things get a little bit more confusing. And that's where numbers become a problem, and then yada yada. That's why I didn't plan for that one to be a thing for quite a while. While saying that, though, I do have a world that I'm working on for it. Essentially, an update to our current world, but for that platform. I have a lot of concepts that I never got to put on for our main world, and that was for a few reasons. Some of it was optimization, some of it was just me not knowing how to do it and not being able to really work well with other people. I just get really confused and I'm really slow and I get frustrated. So I'm not the easiest to teach. But yeah, so essentially I do want an updated version of our current avatar world, and I've been trying to get it to work, trying to see just how I can actually make it work. The original concept involved a lot of electrical mist or fog, if you will. The transportation ideas to get around to the other islands is something that's still achievable. We do still have some of the scripts and otherwise from our original attempts, along with some of the assets, but I feel like nowadays so many other tools like Blender or so on could probably help me make something better than we currently have. I'd like to redesign the islands, and I have a couple concepts, but when it comes to the overall design, I want to stay true to Payne's original design. The problem is, it's still an out-of-date asset. There's a lot of things that we can do, and I've been messing around with a lot. So I wouldn't say this week or next week we'll have a early version of it. I was gonna have some pictures of it, but having to wipe my computer twice delayed a lot of shit. But when it comes to the homeworlds, once the version for Massive Loop is done, I'll make a version for VR chat that's essentially just a conversion. So that'll be cool. Will the new world have more hiding spots? Probably not. I want the updated version to be... I don't want to say it's going to be graphically intense or hardware intense, but it's going to have a lot more intention and a lot more detail. So it'll probably have to be a smaller world size to begin with. Which, to be fair, is fine in my opinion, as a lot of Hoppou raids shouldn't really be too high in numbers. What I would prefer for those kinds of raids is maybe 7 Hoppous at max. But I don't know. When it comes to guidelines and stuff like that, it becomes a lot more confusing and harder for a couple of reasons. But we'll just have to get there. We'll get there when we get there and figure it out. A little bit, must have missed. Let's see. So Abyssal Order, Bess, is essentially going to be our massive loop community, both for Abyssal and Hoppou related roleplay events, but it's also intended to host other forms of our roleplay as well, whether that's, say, a play on the Mafia or so on. But it's also supposed to be much larger in the sense of the main Seat of the Abyss both in a governmental and roleplay structural sense. It's supposed to be the governing body of the Abyss. Essentially, the organization that the Hoppou Foundation and APD would fall under. Now, this is from a lore perspective. This doesn't necessarily reflect operations. It gets a little confusing from there, but it's supposed to be our main roleplay and lore-based server. Don't got enough Guardians to do 7 people worlds, trust me, I know. The way raiding over there gets confusing. There's just not enough information or enough that we can say firsthand to know how to do raids there yet. That's something we just gotta learn, and we'll learn given time. But yeah, so essentially Abyssal Order is supposed to be our main roleplay server, along with the main host of our lore. We're extending more Abyssal type. Yeah, so Abyssal Order is supposed to be centered around Abyssal roleplay. As when it comes to the Hoppou Foundation and Hoppou raids, technically the only Hoppous that are supposed to be Abyssals, the only people that should have Abyssal avatars, would be the raid leaders or leadership. That's the way that was always intended to be. Well, not always intended, the way I'd been intending it to be. But that's not something that we put into actuality. It's not a necessity. Now, for Abyssal Order, that's different. That's very different. I'd like things to be more structured around my set of lore, and that's how I would like a lot of the operations to be for that server. I want it to be very lore focused, that being in operations as well, how it dictates the roleplay and interactions. It's something that's been I've been working on Abyssal Order for a long time, and I just want to fucking get it usable, get people able to play. Sooner or later, I'll make the Discord public, at least an early version of it. But who knows? There's still a lot to do there, and I don't have the world for it quite ready yet. And in terms of Abyssal Nexus, the community that's supposed to be the communal hub, that one's not going to be too difficult. It's pretty much ready, to be fair. I just don't have the documentation finished. And I also don't have the vetting process completely worked out. These are things that won't take me too long once I actually get to them, but it's still a lot to figure out. Abyssal Nexus, for anyone I might not have caught on or caught for the last Poicast, that's supposed to be our communal hub. Specifically for Massive Loop. We're not the kind of people to really interact on a communal level or a community level. It's not our usual thing. But when it comes to something like Massive Loop, I see a lot of good in having a hub type server. Something that also takes away liability from them, so they don't have to really worry about direct issue from any server that may slip through that shouldn't. The concept is pretty simple. It would be a server to both attempt to get cross-communal interactions and events, also a way for other community leaders and newer members or otherwise just members of the Massive Loop community to be able to find new servers, find new groups, find new ways to explore and interact in the game. It's an idea that we originally wanted to do for CVR, but we're just going to have to wait. There's a lot that I want to do over there. And when it comes to the world for that group, I'm not too sure. I've had a couple different concepts for how to approach it, but I really don't know what a good Abyssal, not advertising world, but a place where people could show off their community, a way that people could show off what they are, who they are. It's a much broader concept than I'd like to admit, but it's the one that's going to be a lot more likely to come out, at least sooner, I mean. Abyssal Order's got a lot more to go. Nexus just needs documentation, and then I gotta finish the world. And when it comes to staffing it, it doesn't need a long or a lot of staff. which makes things a lot better on that front. So that's enough for those guys. We'll talk about Abyssal Order a little bit more. So yeah. Good old water. So when it comes to Abyssal Order, the way that I've been looking at it is more purely from a lore perspective. I've spent a long time kind of figuring out how our ecosystem would work, how each community would interact with each other in a larger degree, how they're connected, why they're connected, and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to do with Abyssal Order. The problem is I'm gonna need like at least 200 or 300 Hoppous, which isn't gonna happen anytime soon, at least for that platform. Some of the end goals for that community, it's gonna be pretty interesting, pretty fucking fun. I want to do an incursion into Massive Loop at one point. Before we start doing larger events or more establishing, I do have a series of activities, events, and otherwise that I think would be pretty interesting to both participate in and to make a little, not entertainment out of, but there's a lot of fun things that we can do when it comes to that platform. And there's a lot of ways that we can influence it as well. And I want to try a couple different ways. I think maybe having some of the media team test some stuff out over there wouldn't be a bad idea. There's a lot that we're going to be able to do to establish a foothold. What would you call it? Not a foothold, but when you walk onto the beaches and you're like, huh, this place is kind of cool. Let's build a cabin. I don't know. I'm just shit posting. But yeah, there's a lot that I want to do on that platform, and there's a couple of reasons why Abyssal Order is centered for it. But overall, I want to do a shitload with that community. There's a lot of plans that I'd like to do for it. A lot of them require a lot of people. But early on, there's a lot of fun stuff we can do in terms of not only entertainment, but roleplay. Not on a large scale or anything, but there's a lot that I have planned for it. A lot of fun little skits that could come out of it. And eventually events, which I'm going to be happy and excited for. I want to see what communities come out of the project, and, well, I really want to know what'll come out of it in terms of communities. What groups would form, who's going to upload what kinds of models, that kind of stuff. And we will talk about their most recent update too. But yeah, when it comes to that community in general, there's a lot to go, but there's a lot finished as well. A lot of it's just going to be actually applying the information that's already finished, already written, if you will. In terms of roleplay and lore, I want to be able to actually do... I don't know how to explain it without pulling up the Creately chart that I have. But the way that the Abyss works is rather interesting. We have an emperor. We have differing forms of leadership in the form of admiralties, which then would have their own houses. We have our own form of a Landsrad, which the houses would be representatives. It's really hard to explain without a graph. But the actual intricacies of how the Abyss works, how the Hoppou Foundation fits into it, how the APD fits into it, well, there's a lot. And I want to be able to not only express it and show it off, but be able to play with it, be able to actually role play with it. And I'm not sure how that's going to manifest necessarily, but Abyssal Order is going to be the first major step. And with Abyssal Order, I want to do a little bit of media around it as well. There's a lot of fun ideas that I've had in terms of Hoppou entertainment, if you will. I've had a lot of fun ideas for skits or situations or otherwise involving Abyssal Order. And I've had a lot of fun with media lately. It's been pretty interesting playing around and, well, seeing what you can get, whether that's out of a 3D model or just a picture. So there's a lot of just random fun little things I want to do with that project that makes me really excited. But again, I wouldn't expect to see anything out of Abyssal Order for a while. I want to keep it until either they release it to Steam or when we know we can actually start making progress. So that could be months, that could be half a year, who knows? Yeah, I agree with that. Best letting it take its time to grow. It'll be a slow one, but I think it'll turn out pretty good. I think it'll be a worthwhile investment, but I think it'll especially be a lot of fun. I think it'll be a lot of fun. But that's enough for Abyssal Order. It's just a lot of lore, a lot of writing, and a lot of figuring out how to apply. As for the worlds, we talked about that. Nexus, we talked about that. I'm not going to bring up White Cloud because I haven't been looking at it too much. What else? I'll bring up Massive Loop's most recent announcement. I wanted to talk about that one. Where is it? Dev updates. Excuse me. Let's see. On the 25th, William posted a new update. Happy Friday at everyone. We have another very large release at Massive Loop. This release is a cumulative release covering months of effort. Oh, my screen went black. No, fuck, it's turning on the headset again. My apologies. Headset, you chilling? You good? Can I read it now? All right. Anyway, this release is a cumulative release covering months of effort this summer by our team, and there are some very big jumps in functionality here to unpack. If you're interested in a platform that works well in VR, allows you to earn, and has a solid full body tracking implementation, powerful multi-user scripting for worlds, and isn't directed towards kids, then well, it's a very short list. Hopefully Massive Loop is making its way higher on that from your perspective. If it's not, why not drop us a request in the feature requests channel of our Discord. Now, let's read the fun, cool shit, because I was happy with a lot of this. So, the version is Open Alpha 1.2.29. All new users are given standard accounts with chat and profile enabled by default. Guest accounts have been upgraded to standard. This is nice. I'm very glad. I'm very happy about this for a couple of reasons, but that was, I think, our biggest complaint. I think the biggest complaint we had, period, was how the accounts were set up. So having that resolved is fantastic. I think that's going to be a fucking great. I think that's going to be really great. I'm not going to lie. Having those features enabled, being able to actually have new users use what they're able to use now, I'm hyped for that. That was a really good change, and I'm really thankful for y'all doing that. I'm glad y'all listened. But that's really cool. Massive Loop economy and credit system. I know we talked about this with y'all when we visited, and I was really interested to see how this would actually end up being implemented. Now, I haven't had enough time to go through and really, what's the word? I haven't had enough time to really go in and read the finer details, get into the meat of it. But the way that I think it's going to work from the conversation, this is going to be pretty cool. But we'll get into it a little bit more as they do have everything written out. So the ability to tip a user or tip a server, that's pretty interesting. And I actually really like that concept. A Patreon system for your server by selling groups or subscriptions. That's a very interesting concept, which in terms of like, say you're wanting to host a music festival or an event or a training class or something, the ability to, well, The ability to do that kind of stuff, like selling tickets or otherwise, is a really cool idea. I really like the concept, and that was something that I thought was really cool. I still think that's really cool. It's out of all the ways that you could implement some kind of economy system, normally I would bitch and moan and fucking I'd be pissed normally whenever a company does something like that. But the implementation and how it actually works is pretty fucking solid. I'm a pretty big fan, I'm not gonna lie. I can talk about white. I'll let you talk about White Clad in a little bit if you want to. Pay to enter type groups don't sound like the best. Yeah, I don't agree with pay to enter groups in the sense of like, I don't know, you just have to pay to exist there. But if it's something that's specific to an event or otherwise, say kind of like a Patreon, I get the idea and the concept there. If it's applied in those ways, then I think it's really good. But to be fair, we've just got to see how that actually works in reality. But let's see. Redemption system allowing creators to redeem credits for cash. That was another question that I had, so that's good to know. Public event calendar where you can post your events and share them with others. That was something that I was really excited about, and I'm cool to see that that's a thing. That'll be fucking cool. That'll be useful. Being able to set calendars, notifying other people in the platform itself is pretty good. And I think that's a step towards making it more like a social platform in the sense of social platform, not just a VR social platform or VR game. I think that definitely can help distinguish a little bit. Or rather help be a step in the direction towards making it a bigger platform in that sense. But no, I like the idea for the calendar. This one I'm really interested to mess with because I'm gonna have to fuck with this a lot in the next couple of days. But the Massive Loop repo package system allows you to import Massive Loop objects created by others directly into your Unity project. I'm assuming that's their own version of a Unity package. That's my guess. I'll have to ask because I'm kind of dumb, but I think it is also listed, so we'll read the exact change. Groups and group badges can be used to award server members and control access to worlds/avatars. That's a really interesting concept in terms of restricting and limiting content, but also allowing creators to have a way of not necessarily differently monetizing their assets or their creations or so on. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how it's going to work in reality, but I'm interested to see how it'll work. That'll be pretty cool. I think. I don't know what that means, actually. I'm going to have to ask what that means, or hopefully it's written down here, because I'm a little confused. Avatar upload size increased 75 megabytes. Nice. Hell yeah. I honestly didn't know there was I don't remember there being a size cap, but I might just be kind of dumb. Max players per world instance increased to 50. I'm assuming y'all stress test the shit out of that, but that's interesting to see. I wonder how that's going to play out. I'd love to get fucking 30, 40 people into one instance. Stress test that. Lots of avatar improvements, remove visible hair, helmets or hair, full body tracking improvements, and more. So the visible helmets and hair is one of the greatest fuck you ever that Unity has ever done in the history of Unity. I fucking hate whenever that happens. Your hair's clipping in your vision or your helmet's in your vision. That happened a lot in early VR chat, and that was a problem that we faced on Massive Loop, so I'm really glad they found a solution to that. That's nice. They did add color blindness filters. To be fair, I'm not colorblind, but in most games I do use colorblind filters. Director mode improvements for VTubers. Director mode is one of the major selling points for Massive Loop, in my opinion. What you're able to do with it is really nice and really cool. Now, we'll read on to the finer shit. Water. Beastie. So on the note of standard accounts, this was our biggest concern, our biggest request, and biggest complaint. So we've known for a while that they were going to tackle it in some way, shape, or form. And when we did visit, we talked about it too. But this is a really good step in the right direction. Guest accounts are no more. All users on the platform are given standard accounts, which enable 99% of functionality completely free, excluding a few premium features such as included 3 gigabyte server, VTuber apps, root level URLs. I can agree with that. That's a fucking great middle ground, and I think that's fucking great. I'm happy with that. That's going to allow a lot of people to actually not only interact with the other people around them, but it'll just make things a little more what we're already used to from other platforms. That's a really good step in the right direction, so I'm glad you guys did that. Massive Loop Economy. Our goal is to create a robust digital economy that supports creators and members. This release marks the start of our economy, which I will briefly describe. Wallets and credits. All users on the platform can purchase and use credits. Credits have a 1-to-1 exchange rate with the US dollar currency. Credits can be spent on the platform to purchase items or services. At this time, the initial items you can use them for include tipping a user or server whose creations you appreciate, or purchasing a group access similar to purchasing a ticket that supports the creator and allows you special access to items on their server. We will continue to expand the different things you can do with credits until the economy is robust and works well for creators and members. So that's really interesting. And not only, it's really interesting in a few ways. Having it be a 1-to-1 ratio is nice for a couple of obvious reasons. But I like the idea of a ticket service or tickets for concerts or otherwise events. I think it can be really easily confused with other things, though. All right, I just had to look to make sure. Oh, wrong button. God damn. So I'm interested to see how that actually works because the way that it's intended to be used is pretty, straightforward. It makes sense. So we'll have to see how it works. But that's pretty cool. MLCN, Massive Loop Creator Network. Beyond the credit system is the concept of a creator or vendor. Creators or vendors have the ability to sell products on the platform and also to withdraw their earnings to their local currency. Like all vendor platforms from Amazon to Roblox, we work to meet compliance requirements for AML, tax, and so on. So if you wish to sell digital products or services and withdraw funds on the platform, you must register for the MLCN. MLCN registration can be done online and completed in a matter of minutes. So essentially, if you want to be a vendor or a creator and you sell a lot of shit or so on and so forth, they have a system for you to go through. Events and calendars. To help users create and inform others about events, we have created an event calendar. Each server has its own event calendar, and these events can also be listed on the global calendar. To create an event, just choose the world where it will be located from the website and select Create Event. Events are visible on the website and also within the desktop/VR browser. Our next update for events will include the ability to define a current session as the event session. Currently access controls, currently access control for events is tied directly to access on the underlying world. So calendar system, POG. The ability for your calendar to be also public, not just in your own server, is actually pretty nice. I like that. Now, my biggest question out of this update is the ML repo and package system. The ML repository is a very powerful creator tool that will bring down the complexity of building worlds dramatically. With the ML repo interface and the SDK, creators can now upload massive loop packages to share with the community, or even offer them for sale in the near future. Likewise, creators can search and import packages built by others directly into Unity. This promotes code reuse and the creation of awesome, more capable worlds because you no longer have to create everything from scratch. So, having their own, I guess, internal marketplace, that's what that kind of sounds like. It sounds like a, not internal marketplace per se, but it kind of sounds similar to that. Which I don't know how I feel about it. It's better than going on a Sketchfab, I guess. Better than going on to like ERC mods or some shit. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Example. Let's say I create a fantastic multiplayer scripted object like a motorcycle. I can share this with the community by uploading it to the ML repo system. Now creators all over can import that working multiplayer bicycle directly into Unity with the ML repo interface instead of building it themselves. Oh, okay, so it kind of just works similar to how Unity's marketplace works. At least that's what I'm getting from that. Okay, so their own internal system like that's kind of cool. I like that they're building everything to be dependent on their system. I like that. Groups and groups badges. Servers can now create groups/badges for their members. Groups are very powerful. You can use them simply to award badges. You can also use them for access to control worlds, avatars, and other items. Group access can be sold as a one-time charge or subscription. This allows you to create ticket-like functionality or a Patreon-based subscription to a group. That's a really good explanation. I wasn't sure really how to explain that in a way that doesn't confuse anyone, but that's actually said really well in my opinion. So that's cool to see. Oh, I thought my dog was crying. No, she's asleep. She's just snoring. Increase in avatar size/world capacity. We're helping with more complex avatar creation by increasing avatar upload size to 75 megabytes. We also increase the max users per instance from 16 to 50. Please watch out for some tutorials showing how to bring real-life avatars from Character Creator 4 directly into Massive Loop. Okay, that's cool. The max size of an instance being up to 50 is really, really good, actually. Of course, that being dependent on the server you're in or otherwise, but that's still really cool. Upload size of 75 megabytes is plenty for now. And to be fair, optimizing your avatar, at least in the sense of file size, is not very hard. So I'm happy with that. We're not going to talk about color blindness. They got colorblind. Oh, wait, no, I will, because that's a lot. Holy fuck. We will continue to increase accessibility features on the platform. This release was focused on color blindness. You will find filters to help with... Luna, should I even try to read these words, doggo? Protinopia. Fuck. Why are all of these named in ways that make me think I'm dyslexic? There's a bunch of colorblind filters. God bless. Avatar helmet/hair no longer visible. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy with that. That's a good change. Invite only worlds allow the host of a world to send invites. Nice. Fixes to reduce tippy toe problem. God damn it. When I saw that in the change log, I fucking died. The tippy toe problem is so funny. The Hoppou model, the original Hoppou model, still has the tippy toe problems in a lot of cases, which is funny as fuck. So seeing the tippy toe problem on a larger scale, not just that one model, I can't help but call it tippy toe. They're on their tippy toes, and it looks really fucking derpy and funny. I love it. Improved synchronization for web browsers. That's nice. Remote control for director mode. That's really nice. Object hijacking prevention and massive loop grab component settings. Nice. So they've got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm happy with this update. It's a pretty big update. It's a pretty big deal. And as for the other thing they got going on, well, let's see. Massive Loop's going to be at MiracleCon this Saturday. Well, fuck, it's Sunday. So I guess we're past that point. But anyway, they were at a charity on the 26th. That was pretty cool. MiracleCon is a gaming convention benefiting sick kids right here in Oklahoma, run completely by volunteers. All the profits from the convention are donated to Children's Health Foundation. So I thought that was really cool that they went down there. They had they went down there and fucking participated. I thought that was really cool. Trust me too, Agent. Let's see. That's another question that I had too. Agent says, we'll have to see because there's at least a massive pushback on VR chat because of stolen assets possibly getting resold. That's true. That happens a lot in VR chat and otherwise other circles. We see a couple different websites that do it or so on, and it's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. But VR chat does their best to limit that. But I agree, that is a concern. I'm always sketched out when dev teams already drum up ideas for monetization in markets before the main product is anywhere near completed. I agree with that in the majority of cases. To be fair, that was a pretty big concern I had too, and the way that it's implemented is another very big concern I had. To be fair, after them explaining most of it to us in person, I kind of trust the concept a lot more than I did. But I can see a couple of different reasons for why you would have something like that implemented this early on. It's definitely appealing to certain groups or creators. The concept is a lot more useful later on, but I'm really interested to see how it plays out, and having an early adaptation of it definitely gives them time to work out some kinks before a potential wider adoption or wider user base. But yeah, that's everything going on with Massive Loop. I'm still working on the 2 planned communities and the 2 planned worlds. As for the lore, I've been off and on working on shit for Abyssal Order, but here and there. And yeah, I've been pretty, busy with real life. We moved across the country, literally 2,200 miles. We've done a lot. We've gotten a lot done. It's been fun, and things are going good outside of my headset not working. Fucking VR. Ah. So yeah, I think that's about everything. I can't think of anything else. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark, which is what I was shooting for. But overall, everything's been pretty decent. There's still some bullshit to deal with, but real life be real life. Someone requested an anthem earlier. I'll think of some things for it, but I got other stuff to worry about, so we'll see. If anyone else has any topics or questions, now would be the time to bring it up. I'm gonna go give my dog 3 head pats, and then when I come back, if there aren't any topics and questions, we'll end it. Luna, puppy, are you nice? I love my dog, but she's a fucking dumbass. Like, Luna, I love you, but how the fuck do you eat dice? Love that dog. But she has 1 brain cell, and I think that brain cell is out for a walk. At the beginning of the Poicast, I saw her ripping apart and eating literal dice. So while Crispy was talking, I fucking hopped out of my chair, shoved my fucking hands down her throat, and grabbed the fucking bits of dice out of her goddamn throat. I love this dog, but god damn it, she's a dumbass. She is a fucking dummy. Luna, you're goofy. You're a goofy goober. She looks very angry at me. Not my fault you tried eating dice. But yeah. I think that's about everything. I don't see anything else. Ah, Agent and Psy visited Nitty. Oh, that's cool. Agent and Psy visiting Nitty's cool. You're still okay? Yeah, if you want to talk about Whiteclad, sure, why not? Sure, if you want to. Feel free. I think you can unmute yourself. Uh, yeah, you can unmute yourself. If not, then I'll know. I'm not able to. Let me look. Huh. You're right. I can't unmute you. Actually, I don't know why I can't unmute you. Here, I'll give you a channel exception. Give me a second. You can speak now, probably. You'll have to unmute your mic or something. Damn it, Bess, I gave you I gave you fucking perms. I don't like stages. Did I give the wrong Bess? What is your name, Bess? I'm Bess. I gave the wrong Bess permissions. Hold on. Mazel tov. I gave you permission to speak. I think. This is not a stage. Doesn't matter. I gave you speaking permissions in the channel permissions.
If need be, just giving temporary counsel role so that he can
Well,
unmute himself. It's a bit tricky, but that
hold on. Let
is.
me turn my headset back on.
Otherwise, you'll just have to give him like a special role or something to let him speak.
I gave him permission in the channel itself. Maybe he just needs to reconnect. Because he has access.
Yeah.
Yes, you were right. I did need to reconnect.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Bez. Oh
There
my
you
god.
go.
What were we talking? Whiteclad, right? So, not really too much going on. We've had been getting meetings back up at least, in the staff side, and we have a role play. I think the best way we've thought is taking an NPC route to start us off. And we've got a scenario where we can use an NPC in a world, and we're going for it as soon as I can get some assets out, because it does need a couple assets, and that also means we've been put back because Nighty had to change their GPU out. So they have their GPU. Yeah, they have their new GPU now, which is good. So I'm going to work on some assets for that, for our little secret RP. And yeah, development's back up and running again. We're all trying to be consistent about it this time around.
Fair.
It's like it's weird though, because it's like there's multiple different like things we have to worry about. It's like, whereas in the beginning it was like we all had to be there, where we thought, oh, all of us should be there because we're all like in the beginning of it and we need all hands on deck. We have changed that mindset, as long as we have, 3 people at least, it would have been fine. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Apparently I'm supposed to play guitar for an hour.
I'm dead.
But so we've died down on like, hey, we need all of us, because it is one thing that was putting us back, like Titan himself is dealing with real life stuffs. I'm dealing with work and worrying about moving. And I mean the other 3, they have their specific times that don't end up working out for at least me or him. So it was like weird. We finally have a proper staff schedule though, I guess, for meetings. So that's good. We're trying to like develop like these small tools to keep the consistency going.
Uh-huh.
So it is developing, which is good. I'm pretty excited about it. I just need to send Nighty a couple assets for the world, and should be pretty exciting, I think.
Well, hell yeah. Sounds like fun. Like you
Yeah.
guys are making some progress. Which is
When do
good to
they
hear.
happen? Meeting staff. How come? Because it's white clad staff agent. It's more like deacons and yeah, but you're like moderation. This is more like rating staff per se. The way Blaze, or not Blaze, sorry, you're Blaze.
Hi.
Hi. Titan, the way he has it set up is the moderation the I, as you guys are, they handle the Discord, moderation stuffs, and meanwhile there's the rating staff, such as the deacons, the sphenes, or no, the sphene is the head. What is it? Bishops, the rating staff, and then there's also the lore and architect. World creators and avatar creators would be architect, and then you got lore side of things, which is what was it? Scribes. So he has them mostly separated for the most part. So there's no, like not one person is, doing
Mhm.
it all, even though they only have one role that is technically could be just used here, just to ease it out a bit. I think there's like a couple channels though where everything's like anyone could see it.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Makes
But yeah,
sense.
we're getting places. It's exciting. Squid, I saw that question. Well, if you're talking about like meetings and stuff, well, that's scheduled. We have like our own like little spreadsheet where we input our times, and it really depends on all of us. Mostly me apparently, because it's like I work. I'm trying to level up in the real world and level up personally as well. So I'm getting busier and it's kind of sucking right now. But I'm trying.
I'm sure you're doing good. But
Probably. So I'm gonna mute up and shut up and leave it to Blaze.
For example,
well, I'm
right,
glad things are going good there and that there's a lot happening.
You can also, remove perms if you really want to.
Sure, I'll take him away in a minute. Also, sorry about the Twitch side of things. Steam VR opened and I don't know what it did, but I had to restart it. Let's just triple check. 15, 20. Oh, it did it a few times. Well, that's a shame. I'll have to recompile them later. But I'm glad everything's going good there and that there's a lot of fun and a lot of stuff happening. Yeah, Twitch should be back up now. I can't really think of too much else to bring up. I'm gonna have to pick up my girlfriend fairly soon. But yeah, I think I talked about all the massive loop stuff I wanted to talk about. There's a lot to talk about for Abyssal Order, but I'm getting tired and getting hungry, so I'm gonna make dinner soon. But thanks everybody for joining, and I'll have a little bit for y'all to see soon. But yeah, thanks again, especially Crispy, Lang, and Hi Bass. Hot too. Thanks, Agent, for the assistance. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for coming by. Ah. So now that I'm out of the whole, you know, the whole Discord side of things, I gotta say, ooga booga caveman noise.